Hello everybody and welcome to the very first Chill Out 1778 XRC 101 video with Kaiju Jones. So today I thought it would be a very good starting point to get you guys some pretty good binds. I use these to get the 175. It's currently the world record, so I think they're pretty good, but it's up to you to determine if they are. So let's get into the joystick, and this is where your binds will be. So I have it set to 1778 Sub-Zero. I'm just going to load this to double check that it is. And we're going to start going through these, and I'll let you know my thought process behind each one. And then at the end, I will do a little demo and walk you through all the different binds and what they look like actually in Sim. In the bottom left, you can see my controller inputs. So I will tell you what each thing does, and then I will push it or pull it or whatever on my joystick so that you can actually see what each button is that I'm talking about. Okay, first off, turn, strafe, forward, back, and right stick Y, I do not touch. Um, I just leave those as is, and don't touch those ever, unless you're weird. Okay, D-pad left and right, I put these as my bumpers. All of these buttons might be differently mapped. So your bumpers might not be button 4 for left and button 5 for right. It could be button 19 or button 20. You just have to double check. When you click down your bumper, it will show you here joystick 1, button 4 is what's pressing. That's my left bumper. And so you want your button left up to be your left bumper, and then button right down, your right bumper. And you see how it turns green when I click it? That shows me that it's actually reading it and it's all good. So you want to double check that. Okay, D-pad up and down are buttons 2 and 9. On my controller, button 2 is the X button on the Xbox controller. This is the preset that will allow you to make the elevator fully extended and also the end effector straight up. I don't use this preset at all, but some people do like to use it for barge, so it's just personal preference. You can play around with it. So here, button 9 is your press in of the right joystick. So again, it might be a different button for you. Just make sure that pressing down the right joystick makes that turn green. Sometimes I've had a little bit of a glitch where if I press it, it doesn't actually make it turn green. To fix that, I just close out the binds and then reopen them, and then if I go back, it'll usually make it green again. But don't worry, just try that if it doesn't actually make it turn green, but it is registering as the right button being pressed down in this little box down here. But this preset is going to be the preset for the passover. So when you have a coral in your ground intake and you want to pass it over to your end effector, you press this button to get in position for that. So now we're on going to button A, which is set to button 0, which is my A button. It's not turning green right here, but I will assure you it does actually register it. This is going to be your outtake algae / coral button. So this basically just reverses your end effector's wheels and spits out whatever you're holding. So that's what you're going to use for the barge scoring, and if you double intake for some reason, you can outtake your coral so you don't get that possession foul mid-match. Now button B, it looks a little bit weird. Button axis 3. But all this is saying is the sim expects me to bind this to a button. That's why it puts the word button there, because it's expecting button B would be bound to a button. But I said, haha, nope. I'm going to bind it to an axis. So for some reason it keeps the word button there, but then puts the axis there. So if we go into this, control axis 3, that is my left and my right triggers. But I have it bound here, so left up is -1. So when I'm pressing my left bumper and left bumper only, the reading turns green when I pass the threshold of 0.5. So make sure that your axis is the one for your trigger, and then make sure that when you're pressing the left one, the reading turns green. Something I will note about this is the triggers are a bit weird. At least for me and Navixty, we checked and it gives us two different um, readings here, axis 3 and also axis 9. Um, you can choose either axis 3 or 9. It doesn't matter, I don't think. I just chose axis 3. Um, but yeah, just don't worry if there's 2 showing up here. It doesn't really matter. Now, button X, same thing. I just chose an axis. And this one is going to be your right thumbstick up and down. So here I have it set so when I press down, or not press down, but pull down on my right thumbstick, it will give me a reading. So what this is going to do is it is going to um, deploy your ground intake to get ready to pick up the coral. Very important here, I have the dead zone set to 0.5 so that when I'm rotating around, it doesn't accidentally activate. If I had the dead zone to, let's say, 0 here, and then I'm moving around, you see how sometimes it flicks green? I don't want that. At any point that that turns green, it will automatically deploy my ground intake. And so to avoid that, I just put the dead zone at 0.5. And so when I am moving around, now it doesn't actually activate until I purposefully pull down on that right thumbstick. Very important, make sure left up is positive, right down is negative. And make sure that when you pull down, your reading turns green. Now, button Y, same axis, but instead of +1 and -1, it is -1 for up, +1 for down. Same dead zone, very important. Whenever you're changing values, by the way, you need to press Enter when doing it, or else it won't save. So if I put 0.1 here and just click off and close it, and I go back into it, it didn't save my 0.1. But if I put 0.1, click Enter, then close, and reopen, it saves my 0.1. So always press Enter there, and it'll make sure it saves. So this one is going to pass over from your intake to your end effector. So once you've pressed down on the right thumbstick to get into the passover preset, then you push up on that right thumbstick, and it'll pass it over to the end effector so it's ready to score. So slow turn left and right. I don't use these. I use my Rust Hounds binds to when I was making this as like a preset. And I have this as my Rust Hounds binds. So these, you can set this to like button 19, button 20. I don't use slow turn. I don't really know anybody that does. So they aren't really needed, but it does kind of help if you're newer to the game. So the controls aren't as touchy, basically. Left trigger and right trigger, these are going to be your elevator. I didn't change these. These should still be axis 3, but in case yours is a different axis, they are my triggers. And again, the reading isn't turning green here, but it does register. If it doesn't turn green, you can double check. As long as you know what it should do, you can go into single player and then check that it does. So those are all of my binds. Now let's go very quickly into single player, and I'll show you what some of them do. Okie dokie, folks, here we are in single player. I'm not going to do a full explanation of how to score with chill out just yet. That's going to be my next video, but I just want to show you right trigger is up on elevator, left bumper is down on my end effector, and then that was just pressing in my right bumper, or not right bumper, right thumbstick. That got me in this position right here. So boom, gets me in this position. No matter where I am, I press it, it gets me in this position. So if I drop, I pull down on my right thumbstick, I'm intaking. Once I've intaked, press right thumbstick, then up on right thumbstick, and then I score. Just look in the bottom left, you'll see all of my inputs. They should be the same for you if you set it up correctly. If you do have any questions and need some like personalized like debugging, I'm glad to help. So just DM me or ping me on XFC or XRC, and I'll get to you as soon as I can. So that's that. Here I'll show you an algae score here. And then if I press A on the Xbox controller, it pops it out, and then it resets it. Also, just really quickly, you see how my end effector wheels are not spinning right now? To make them spinning, because if they're not, you can't actually pick up any algae or coral, what you have to do is you have to push up on the right thumbstick, and then it'll start intaking. So that's the basics of my chill out binds. Thank you guys very much for watching, and the next video will be out soon.